Welcome to Stampede Your Business. Stampede your business. Troy.
That's great.
Oh, wow.
It's the first time we've had an audience member in the room.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So in the house with us today, Troy, one of the co-founders of Stampede Digital Systems. And we're happy to have you, probably a mainstay here now on the show. And
A regular,
yeah. So we're, as you guys know, this is Stampede Your Business. We're using our company, Stampede Digital Systems, as the business model, and we're going through to see if this thing works. We've been hashing this out for just developing the concept for about a year, right? Troy?
Right. Yep.
And so we're now ready to stampede our business.
That's
and
right.
Get to business.
Get down to business.
Get down to business. So what are we talking about today?
All right, so
Brett?
today we're talking about developing your product. So you want a product worth
Oh, you
selling.
got to have one of those, huh? You do have to have a product.
I don't know. If you want to be in business, maybe you could just not have a product. And
Can't you just show up somewhere and people give you money? Is that a thing?
I think that would be awesome.
That's what movies start. No,
That's how movie stars
I'm not going to go there.
Oh,
That's rude.
man. Dang, that's a whole industry.
What do they call the life businesses? Where they just are on Instagram and they take pictures of themselves and they make money.
Oh, yeah, the
That's-
life stars.
That's what we all
Yeah.
want as a business, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to do anything. Just take pictures and go to
Take
cool
pictures of
places in the
yourself
world.
and get paid to live.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
yeah, that would be awesome. But we
You gotta
don't
be
do
pretty,
that.
You
We're
gotta be
big-
pretty stinking consistent to really make any money off of that.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I'm making fun of that, but it truly is a business still, and you do have to work really hard.
You are
People
your
don't
product.
think about that, but it is hard work.
Well, not only are you your product in those businesses, but you do have to do a lot of video editing. There's really a lot of work behind the scenes that's happening all the time.
Anybody that thinks those YouTuber guys don't work, they work hard.
Absolutely, at least the ones that are making money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the times that I've done it, I didn't make any money. I didn't work hard at it at all.
Well,
So anyway,
that's
all right.
about the rest of us also.
So the concepts we're going over today is the product.
Product.
We've got a product.
Product we're selling.
Yeah, that is the key. The problem is we could have a product that nobody wants, and how much money would we have to spend to make a ton of money on a product that nobody wants?
I don't think you're going to make any money.
That's a trick question. I just threw out that trick question.
Troy, what do you think?
How much money would you have to spend to make money on a product nobody wants?
Ask Congress.
Now that was a good retort right there.
There you go. The definition of government.
Yeah. We didn't. Yeah, that is a business that's
That you can
Doesn't-
show up and not
it doesn't follow the
not
rules.
get results and
Still get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about a product that people want. That's what we're starting.
We've spent some time talking about how you created your business, why you created your business, what this is all about, and really, you're not going to step foot in the business arena unless you have an idea of something you want to sell, right?
Right.
I think everybody kind of that's a given. So, how do you determine if your product is good or not, and what are you going to do if you find out that your product isn't worth selling? I mean, how do you fix that?
You're supposed to throw it away and go find something else,
Or you can innovate and
or you can
adjust.
pivot.
You can pivot.
You can
and
pivot.
innovate that product to actually make it worth something.
And we're going to give you a giant gold nugget here. Because if you do this and you take the time to find out if people want your product, then you're going to spend a lot less money before you find out nobody wants it.
That's right.
I think the thing is that we're always pivoting.
Yes.
You never go in and the plan works out exactly how you have it set up. It's always going to have to be adapted to the reality of what's out there.
You got to be open to that. All the ultra successful folks out there realize that pivoting is something that has to be done.
That's how you travel, right?
Yeah.
You pivot, travel,
Yeah.
and then you get the whistleblower.
One of the things about
Yes.
being an entrepreneur is to be able to fail enough times to find out what works, and to endure that failure, that process of failing over and over and over, to come up with something that actually is valuable and actually is a product we're selling.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah, that's
so let's
awesome.
start going through our pieces
Yeah, let's
real
talk
quick.
about
You
this.
guys ready for this? So what's our first little, basically your business plan in a nutshell.
Yeah, so your business plan in a nutshell. This is how you create your business plan, and basically two things. Your business must be all about your product, and your
Or
product
service.
must be all about your customer. So your business has to be all about your customer. Period.
Yep.
It's so simple, but a lot of people just don't really get that. Most of the time, they start creating a business around themselves, and they
they're
say, "Hey,
genius.
I'm cool. I can do all this stuff," and they don't really take the time to find out what people really need and want. And I've solved a problem, but is it a universal problem, or are people even willing to pay for that solution?
Yeah, so we're going to go through these 4 steps, right?
That's right.
4 steps for kind of funneling into and figuring out a product we're selling.
That's right.
Or
So
having, or using, or giving, or you know what I mean.
all right. So the first step is actually to figure out what your product is. Isolate the product or service that you want to scale. And it has to be scalable. It has to have the potential to scale. And how do we determine that, if it's scalable? Well, it has to be teachable. It has to be teachable to employees.
What does that mean?
Well, think about Henry Ford, and the cars, right?
Manufacturing.
He made manufacturing of cars very teachable by establishing the assembly line. And
Genius.
right? And so
It was definitely teachable.
he made it super scalable by making a teachable opportunity there.
Yep.
And so it has to be teachable to employees.
I love this next one.
Go ahead.
Valuable to the customers.
Oh man.
Actually have value. I think so many businesses forget. They think that they have this cool thing that everybody needs, but if it's not valuable to people, then it's worthless.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And you really, really need to have a heart-to-heart. Is this value? Some of the greatest things out there were just these off-the-wall crazy things. Like I bring up Spanx a lot just because I just think that's so interesting. And she's a billionaire now, and everybody thought she was crazy and stupid, and she did something different. And Elon Musk, even everybody said he's a crazy person, but we did want electric cars. Everybody said we didn't, but we did.
Yeah.
Turns out. Yeah. How about that? So take the time to really understand what your customers want.
Right.
Find out if what you've got is interesting to other people. And with Stampede, we talk about the beginning of Stampede and what happened. Bobby showed up. He's talking about this builder-all product that he finds, and you have people that are just like, hey, I'm interested.
Hey, this is cool.
This sounds really cool.
Yeah, I want to do that.
And
Entrepreneur crazy people.
And once we started getting some momentum and some traction in what we actually wanted Stampede to be and do, we started talking to people about the sales sites and what is a sales site, and you just mentioned sales site in a networking meeting, and what happens?
People are interested.
People are interested.
They immediately are like, oh, that's you're talking like a sales funnel, right? This is a term that not everybody's using. We've kind of taken it to our own.
I call it the theory of holes. A roofer doesn't have a job until there's a hole. A doctor doesn't have a job until someone's sick. A mortician doesn't have a job until someone dies. There's these holes out there that our products, our services come in and complete and bring to wholeness the whole, right? Yep. And so when we say sales site, people know that just having a website, a piece of art sitting on the internet is not where it's at. What people are wanting with their website is they want it to produce results.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the hole that we saw.
Yep, absolutely. That is. Thank you, Troy. That's perfect.
Yeah, and we figured it out. We learned that that's what people wanted by mentioning it, by talking about it,
By doing these 6 things right here.
and then we took a look at the 6 things.
Yeah. Okay.
So it has to be repeatable. So now you have something that's teachable. You have something that people want, and now you've got to make it repeatable.
Yeah.
Repeatable.
So if I'm selling a one-time trip to the moon, I don't have a business.
Right.
I have a one-time trip to the moon that I could make some money off of, but that's not a business.
Right.
So what's a repeatable thing? Well, first of all, we're all familiar with consumables, food, toothbrushes, toothpaste, stuff that we consume
Well, I keep my
regularly.
toothbrush for about a year and a half. So I don't know.
Well, you eventually throw it away. Okay, so yeah, everyone eventually gets rid
It
of
just
their
gets
toothbrush.
downgraded to cleaning grout.
I've found that the older toothbrushes don't do as good a job on the
With the
grout.
grout.
Though. Yeah, you got to get a new one.
You may have something.
That's where the stiff bristles are good for.
I think this is where the big mantra came in, where everybody now is doing, where like Adobe started doing, where you pay subscription model. Oh
Subscriptions.
my gosh!
So
Yes.
that's
we'll
what I was.
we'll get to subscriptions really soon because that's one of the next ones on there. But sunk money consumables is the next level of repeatable business. That's where someone actually has to pay something up front. To get something, and then like they have a base. So for example, here's a really cheap, simple example is a razor. You buy a razor. How often do you change the head?
When it starts hurting.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say.
I need to get a new head for my razor. By the way. But you start you change
Until
the
you
head,
do
but
the subscription.
you keep the razor. You spent some money on the original razor, and all you pay for is to switch out the head.
Right.
And that's a sunk money consumables. There are more expensive sunk money consumables. There's a lot of ways to go there. Then there's renewable subscriptions. So
Did we talk about contracts?
we haven't gotten there yet. We're
You're
up
jumping.
the list.
You're
We're going up the list, Bobby, not down the list.
Okay.
We're going from
Gosh.
worst to best.
That's right. That's right.
Aha.
So in case you didn't catch that, we are going from worst to best. So consumables is great, and it's an easy to understand because we all do it.
Lots of people make lots of money
Lots of people make lots of money,
reselling stuff.
but
Like food.
it's still not the best way to make a lot of
It's
money.
also really hard if you're not already in the industry.
Oh, it is. It is. Most of the
tough
consumable industries are rough.
Yeah.
So we want subscriptions then. Subscriptions are huge. They're awesome. Renewable subscriptions.
It's the end thing, right? It's the
yeah.
it thing right now.
Yeah, get a subscription,
Subscription.
if you want to get a program on your computer. Subscribe.
Subscription, yes.
And then the sunk money subscriptions. That's where you actually pay up front for something solid. Again, just like the sunk money consumables.
Is that like the razors for like that you pay for that they come every month?
Oh, they have those?
They have
Oh my
those.
gosh, yes. I did it for a while. I did it for probably 6 months. And it was cool because then you do throw away because you got a new one.
You got a new one, so
and
why
I
use
keep
the-
using the
yeah,
old
I
one?
throw the old
Yeah.
one away. It's kind of awesome. It
Right.
actually was really good. I don't know why I quit, other than, I just did.
Right.
But that's what you're talking about, right? It's a consumable,
Yep.
but you're in a subscription model for it. That got really, really popular a few years ago with that one, and I think they even have some makeup ones now, where they'll send you makeup, and I know vitamins are a big deal too,
Yep.
where they'll send you. If you sign up for 3 months worth of vitamins, then you get it cheaper.
So that's interesting because now the consumable market is figuring out a way to
subscription.
create subscriptions out of consumables. But
I had a friend that did vegetables.
Vegetables.
Really?
Yeah, he would send vegetables to people's houses.
See, that's one I'd be interested in. I like fresh vegetables.
Yeah.
I like
Oh.
fresh bread. I
It
don't
was cool.
use that.
Yeah. I like.
Sustaining it was hard.
Yeah, that is hard. Yeah. So a sunk money renewable subscription though would be something where you actually paid for like a startup fee. Verizon does that. You pay for the phone up front, and then you're locked in
Startup
for a
fee.
year.
Yeah.
You pay for your phone. That's your startup fee, and then you're locked in for a year. Auto-Renewable Subscriptions. That's the next one. Every subscription these days is going auto-renewable. If you can get a subscription in front of somebody's face, you can turn it auto-renewable, and that's just the way of the world right now. Don't fail on that opportunity. You just got to auto-renew that subscription. But even better than auto-renewable subscriptions are contracts.
I think I may have to disagree, people.
Well, and this is why a contract is better.
Okay, here goes debate, Troy. You get to be the referee.
Because when you have a contract, a subscription somebody can cancel any time. But a contract, they have a period of time.
Holding them hostage.
You're holding them hostage.
That is not a better plan.
Well, you're not just holding them hostage.
Yes, you are.
You're locking them in for a period of time.
I will
they
sue
chose.
you if you don't.
So with the contracts, you typically will give them a discount to go into the contract.
Yeah.
Disney Plus, for example, right now, Disney Plus $60 for the year. If you go with a yearly contract, if you go month to month, it's $7.99 a month.
That's right.
And so that's an extra $2 a month or $3 a month that you're paying because you didn't contract with them. So people love the contracts when you're giving them a deal, but
sometimes the contract is there to protect you so that you'll make money, because a lot of people will up front do a loss leader to lose a little bit, and if they don't have a contract, they'll end up going out of business.
The thing to remember is that what we're talking about is a product worth selling. If we have a good product, then the contract is worth it. Getting into a contract on a mediocre thing, that's a whole different thing. Like Disney, that's probably a pretty good product. You're gonna love your Disney subscription.
You're gonna know what you're getting,
and they're gonna work hard to make sure that that's a great service. So saving some money on that, that's a really good product.
I think that's the big point. That is the whole point.
That's the whole point. That's the whole
point.
That
all of these are good if you have a good product.
If you have a good product,
exactly. So what Stampede is doing is we're creating a subscription service. We've got a subscription service that where you can sign up to have service on your website as well. But here's the. We're creating something that probably already exists out there, but it's not on this list. And so we're upgrading the list to auto-renewable contracts. So with an auto-renewable contract, it's basically the same thing as a subscription, but at the end of the period, you have the contract and it just auto-renews.
It goes again.
Yeah.
And then there's always, you're open to stipulations, and so the client is happy. But it still comes down to if the product is out of sight and awesome and amazing, then they love the thought of not having to worry about it, and it gets auto-renewed, and you just have a great product.
That's called ease of doing business.
So that's the first step. All of that stuff is the first step to having a product worth selling.
Yeah. And the last part is enjoy fat margins, you guys. You've got to do something, find something where you can create it for low cost and sell it for much more than what it costs you.
Bazillions of dollars.
For bazillions of dollars.
Is that a real
It's going to be.
Brazilian.
It will be soon.
Oh, Brazilian. That's
Brazilians
like
of dollars.
Oh, I think that's wrong.
Well, if we talked about Brazilians of dollars, that's the guy that brought over Builderall, right?
Yeah.
So he's got Brazilians of dollars.
Yeah. What's his name?
Eric Salgado.
Eric.
That's right.
Salgado.
That's right. So he's got Brazilians. So you want something that's going to give you some fat margins, because as you create a new industry, if you're actually innovating and creating something new and good, other people will want to follow, and the more people that follow, the tighter your margins are going to get. So you have to start out with a fat margin.
That's right.
Because
if you're good, you will be copied.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you start out with a thin margin,
you'll put yourself out of business.
Then you're going to put yourself out of business so fast.
Yep. And it's got to be worth it, but yeah. That is a key.
Yeah,
if you're just barely thin, and I used to tell people in the entrepreneur groups, if you have a widget that costs you $1 and you sell it for 99 cents, how many do you have to sell to make a profit?
And you never will.
Never will.
You
Right.
have to
People
sell
don't
none
realize
to
that.
make it a profit.
People don't think about their costs when they do pricing, and they don't realize just because it's this much to make the widget, there's a lot of things that go to something. You have got to understand your costs, and if you make the margins big enough where you can absorb that stuff, you have a real business.
That's right. And you've got to be able to pay yourself, which and your employees. So.
There's some amazing products that can be created that cost more than what a client or customer could buy them for, that are you can't sell because no one can make money off it.
They're awesome, but you can't sell.
Yeah, you could have everyone have a Lamborghini, but then try to sell that for the 10,000, 15,000 that a low. No,
right. It wouldn't work.
At a certain point, you have to figure out about your product where you're going to make sure that you're going to make money off it.
I think solar was a good example of that for a long, long time. Everybody's like, why can't we have solar? Why can't we have solar? Because it costs a whole lot more to put solar in than any kind of money savings that you would have made on it.
Exactly.
It's only now that it's starting to be affordable that way where it actually makes sense. But that was one of those things. Everybody wanted it.
Everyone wanted it.
But it cost too much.
It was way too expensive because the technology wasn't there. It just wasn't good enough.
Cool.
So then step 2, moving on to step 2, you got to create a positive cash flow cycle. And what that really comes down to is charge up front. Don't create and then bill your clients. Do not work your butt off and hope to get paid.
Right.
Get paid for the work that you're going to do by charging up front. Now, what Stampede is doing with our $500 websites, we're charging that up front. Period. We're not making a site until we get paid, but we have upgrade options.
Yep.
And so with that, because the upgrade tends to be a little bit more expensive, we do allow half up front. And then half in the middle. But,
and we have the workflow that the client gets to follow along with the work that's being done.
That's a really cool innovation that you came up with, Bobby. Why don't you talk about that for a second?
That way they get to pay for the work that's being done, and we get to be paid for the work that's being done. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So the client gets to watch, okay, we're in this phase of the site. And okay, I pay for this, I approve this. That way you take the client with you instead of just going, okay, we're going to give you this great thing at the end. And most people are either unsatisfied. Oh, that happens so often in the web development world. This great web developer gets everything done, and then, okay, it's done. And the client is like, well, but it's not exactly what I wanted. If you take the client with you and then they get to pay as they go, as things are created, it makes them a part of the process. Exactly. It's so much better. Cool.
Absolutely. So step 3 is to hire a sales team. Now, that should be a given. If you're a business owner, you don't have time to sell your product all the time because you've got all the other stuff that you got to take care of.
If you're doing it right.
If you're doing it right, that's right. And there's just a lot to do. Likewise, not everybody loves selling. Not everybody loves to get out there in the trenches.
Yeah, they do, don't they, Troy? Everybody loves selling.
The sales folk are a different type of a different breed of people, and
he's spoken like a true sales guy.
And they get the thrill of that hunt, and yeah. So you got to get used to them. But think of like you're a roofer, right? So let's say I'm a roofer. I own a roofing company,
and I know how to roof.
And I'm out and I start marketing. I start trying to find new business. And while I'm doing that, no roofing is getting done.
Right.
But if I can bring in a salesperson to say, hey, you be on the phones, you be connecting, suddenly now we're both busy. We both
if I'm
make
enjoying
more money.
fat margins, I can pay my salesperson well.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so with Stampede, we were really fortunate to start out with one of our founders as a really awesome, amazing salesperson. Yeah, and we have his perspective, his influence, and his assistance through this process. And Troy, you're just killing it.
Yeah. And what's your take on this? What I mean, you've kind of seen every kind of salesperson on the planet,
right?
What is the magical salesperson? What is that?
The magical sell for me? What sales is all about is you ask people what they want and then you give it to them, And that's what this
That
product
sounds pretty complicated.
Yeah, well, let's say for example, we have a fictitious T120 cell phone, right? And I'm talking to on this T120 cell phone. I'm talking to a tech millennial kind of person. On that, so the person loves new technology. They love it. I'm going to be asking questions. Are you looking for faster speeds with your cell phone? Oh, yes. Are you looking for this tech capability? Are you looking for that? Yes, that's what I'm looking for. If I can get you that, do we have a cell? Yes, we'd have a cell if you can get me that. Okay, here's the T120. Right? Now, let's say I'm talking to a little grandma who just wants to stay in contact with her grandkids. So are you really looking for, what I'm hearing you saying, are you looking for connection with your family and those around you? Yes. So if I could get you a cell phone that would help you stay in communication and have this feature, would that be what you're, yes. Well, here's the T120. Same phone.
So can you teach that to people?
Absolutely.
All day long, huh?
All day long,
It's
every
not
day.
rocket science. And the key with sales and having a sales team, you don't have a business if you're not selling. Yeah. You do not have a business if you're not selling stuff.
But I'll tell you what, if you're going to have a sales team, have a product worth selling. Because there are hundreds of sell shops that get set up all the time with crappy services, crappy products they're these boiler rooms where people are working and it's just no fun.
And they have no staying power.
Right.
They will not last. No matter how
they're flashing
pushy
the pan.
The sell is.
Yeah, they throw people against the wall to see who sticks, and it all collapses in the end because they don't have a product worth selling.
I love it. Okay, step 4.
So step 4 is stop selling everything else. So here's the
hard.
thing. This is hard. So I want to qualify that a little bit. When I say stop selling everything else, what I'm talking about is
this is from Built to Sell.
When you have a product worth selling, don't sell something that's not a product worth selling. You stick to what's worth selling. Now, so I don't want to say once you have one product, don't ever sell anything other than that one product. We mentioned already, Stampede's got different levels of services. Our single product has different ways that we're able to present it, right? And there's additional bonuses and add-ons that are always going to be part of our process. But what I'm saying is all of those things are also products we're selling that fit
right
in the steps 1, 2, and 3. So we're not breaking that rule,
right?
No,
by going outside of the one thing.
And this is one area where we're still developing, but I think Stampede's product is that process. It's the bit because we are a business development company that focuses on companies' sales and marketing. That's our product. Yeah. Some companies don't need SEO. It would just be a waste of time to get that ranking on the search engine. But what they do need is they need to get connected in Facebook. And so the product is helping clients and customers
find out what they actually need.
Yes, right. Because, like for example, the whole reason they like sell sites is because, now my site is doing something. And we don't care about getting them a new website if they have a website that's working great.
Right.
So we're not about that. What we're about is that development process, and that's our ultimate product. And we're still trying to figure out how to always communicate that well and effectively.
That's what we do.
And that's why
what we're working.
And that's why we're doing our podcast so people can hear us try to figure it out as we go.
Yep.
To become better and better, and then they can go, you know what? If those guys can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, because we're not a bunch of geniuses in this room. I'm looking around, and no.
Hey, speak for yourself, man. Total genius.
I don't have a mirror in this room. I'm not talking for myself.
Okay. All right. So those are the steps for a product worth selling. Let's talk about the 10 rules for creating and selling a product. Period.
And you know what, Bobby, I think we're going to want to push
this
that into
later.
another episode
because we are here 30 minutes
we
already.
had some really good content on just that portion of what we plan on talking about. So
you heard it for next time.
that's right. The next time is going to be the rules for creating and selling a product, and that
was a teaser, people.
This is some really powerful stuff. We've got 10 rules, and we're going to talk about that.
Awesome.
In another episode.
Okay, people. Stampede.
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 Stampede your business.
I love that.